Hello and welcome back to the EV Zone at DistribuTech International 2024. I'm John Engel, Editor-in-Chief of DistribuTech and Power Grid International, joined today by E2COMPANIES founder and CEO, James Richmond. James, it's so great to see you.
Great, good to see you as well.
Thanks
Happy
for
to be
being here. So energy transition, obviously the top line theme of the show pretty much every year, but what do you identify as some of those key themes to making sure that we continue to propel that momentum and stay on track with our goals?
Well, I think the biggest thing is to really accept and understand that, we have an infrastructure that's 40 plus years old for about 70% of it, and time is of the essence. So, 10 years to develop products and get them into play is really just not a comfort zone we have anymore, right? We're at the point of we got to start moving faster and get innovation moving faster. And if we don't get innovation moving faster, we're just going to create more problems on the grid. So when we think about resiliency and reliability, what we want to do is figure out how can we get that started faster, better, and start taking care of as we're shutting down, 60% of the infrastructure over the next few years.
A lot of talk of distributed energy resources here at DistribuTech. It's one of our most exciting pieces of content. What are some of the points of innovation that you're watching most closely and excited about?
So what I watch the closest is, how are we handling the demand side, right? We've been focused from a utility concept for power generation and grid stabilization, but not a lot on the demand side. And when you think about the large users out there, data centers, crypto, large industrial, these guys are going to have to play a role on the demand side of stabilization of the grid. So it's the technologies that disappear, but can follow a standard so that we can increase the velocity of how fast we can do this.
The energy transition and the state of our power infrastructure is becoming more and more public, and they're more aware of their surroundings and the impacts to them, whether through outages or intermittency, whatever. How important do you think that is in us framing our approach to the transition and making sure that this is equitable and that it works?
Well, I think it's critical because in the end, energy independence is going to be what's going to happen. We've reached kind of some crossover points on the cost, right? So as the costs have continued to climb from the utility infrastructure rate, if they don't start bringing efficiencies into play, people will put in their own power for cheaper than the utility can provide.
They're starting to do that.
Right. And so that creates an energy economy, which has a whole plethora of social issues that goes along with it, right? So now a guy who can afford his own power has great power, and the person who can't afford to do that, their power gets worse and more expensive. So we can't end up with an economy that's doing that to the public.
James Richmond, founder and CEO of E2COMPANIES. Thanks for joining me in the EV Zone.
Great, thank you.